It's 2-1, Detroit City FC! Detroit City FC makes history, reaches the summit, and claims the 2024 USL-W League Central Conference Final.
It is opening day for Detroit City FC's women as they take on AFC Ann Arbor from Holloway Field in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Greetings and welcome to the opener of the USL-W season for Detroit City FC. They are taking on AFC Ann Arbor this evening, 7 o'clock kickoff right here behind me, Holloway Field, on the campus of Ann Arbor Pioneer High School. And, well, for Detroit City, this is a redemption tour, shall we say. Last year, the girls played their way to the national semifinals of the USL-W League, falling to the Colorado Storm by a score of 2-1 in that match. And, and it's all about redemption. A lot of those same names and faces are coming back to the squad this year, including one Kayla Addison for Detroit City FC. And of course, she's very excited about coming in tonight. She shared with the club that there's nothing like the first match of the season. The energy, the preparation, the chance to finally compete. It's what we trained for. I'm locked in and ready to give it all I've got. Of course, she's one of them. Lily Jacob being another one as well that is coming back this year. We're glad to see her back instead of being grabbed by the Union or FC Union Macomb, who is, let's just say they're owned and operated now by Nationals. I wouldn't say owned and operated, but there's a lot of Nationals player on there. Of course, Lily being the Nationals player, came back to Detroit City. She loves the atmosphere of Keyword Stadium, and we'll be glad to see her back sporting the Rouge and Gold this year for Detroit City FC. A lot of other players coming back here for Detroit City. Maya Romeo being one of the Childers sisters coming back as well for Detroit City FC. Let's see, trying to think of Fatima Nasser. She was injured last year. She's back out on the pitch as well for Detroit City FC. A lot of players that Coach Dave Dwahey has to work with, over 40 some odd players for this squad. And, and they are humble, but yet bold. That's how you say it. How you say it with this club. They are humble, but bold. But they have that tenacity, and they had that tenacity last year, cruising themselves to an undefeated record in the Great Lakes North Division. Now, Ann Arbor has already played one game so far in the USL-W. They played against Union FC Macomb, and that was a couple weeks ago here. So I'm going to look that up real quick here. As let's see here. I'm trying to get that up here. So let's see here. Going here in the Great Lakes Division. So AFC Ann Arbor has played 2 games, has 2 points per match. Their first game, they took on Union FC Macomb, a 2-1 victory here at Holloway Field, and then they traveled earlier this week to Grand Rapids to take on FC or Midwest United. That ended up being a 1-1 draw in that contest. So they've already played 2 games so far this year. This will be their third of the year. They are right now sitting at 4 points on top of the Great Lakes Division. But it's still early, folks, and we got plenty of soccer left going forward. But the main thing here is Detroit City has had a good history here at Holloway Field. The last 2 times they have come here, they have been dominant in their performances, including last year where the Burger King crowns came out, and let's just say it was a celebration of Detroit City's undefeated season in the USL-W's Great Lakes Division, as they celebrated a big victory there for Detroit City FC. And, they took that momentum all the way to the national semifinals, as you know. But nonetheless, it is going to be, shall we say, it's going to be one of those games in which, old rivals go at it once again. And, with Detroit City, the long history of this rivalry. I mean, you date back to the days of the MPSL, back at, the early days of Detroit City FC, when the throng of Northern Guard supporters that would come here to support Detroit City FC as they took on their battlers to the west of the Detroit metro area. And there's some great battles, and one has been on both, well, not really both sides of the rivalry, but both sides of the equation as far as appearance time. Dario Suarez, he was shall we say, a pain in the arse to many of Detroit City supporter until he came to Detroit City a couple years back to finish out his season there. But he has unfortunately heard from him as said. I hope he's doing well, But he's been a mainstay in this rivalry, one of the great antagonists to Detroit City FC in the past. But now, I mean, it's a different story now with the women. And the first time that these two teams met in the W League was over at Saline High School. Detroit City FC, not so fortunate that day. They lost that game. But the last two times here at Holloway Field have been victories for Le Rouge. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens tonight, though, as far as how this plays out. A team that's been in training for the last couple weeks or so against a team that has already played 2 games out on the pitch so far this year. Taking a look at the standings right now in the Great Lakes Division, it shows that AFC Ann Arbor is on top, 2 points per match with 4 points. Union FC Macomb has 3 points on their docket. They've played 2 matches thus far. Losers here to AFC Ann Arbor 2-1. That happened on May 9th, and then they beat Kalamazoo FC last week in play as well. Third place in the division right now is Midwest United. They played 1 match so far, and that was that 1-1 draw against Ann Arbor, or AFC Ann Arbor, last week in league play. So, and for Detroit City, as you know, first match of the year thus far. Toledo Villa has not played a match yet as well in the competition. So 10 games in the regular season begin in earnest tonight, and it's going to come fast and furious over the next couple months of play here. But it is not just all about the women tonight. It's about this weekend, shall we say. It's about the men as well. The men traveling down to Protective Stadium to take on the Birmingham Legion. And Detroit City, as of late, has been struggling to find the ball in the back of the net. It's been 2+ games in which they've been able to find the back of the net, and that was all the way back when they traveled down to Indy to take on the Indy 11, when Darren Smith notched his 7th goal of the year, and that was the last time Detroit City scored. They came away with a 4-0 loss to Chicago Fire in the U.S. Open Cup, followed that up with a 0-0 draw last week in Hartford. And so it's kind of pertinent enough for Detroit City to, try to find the back of the net in a place where they've had some success as of late, Protective Stadium down in Birmingham. And shall we say, it has been, like I say, it hasn't been a house of horrors for Detroit City FC. In fact, it's been quite the contrary. Last year, August 26th, 1-0 victory over Birmingham Legion in the Sunday special there. The year before that, a 3-2 victory over Birmingham Legion. And then in 2022, 2-1 victory. 3-0-1 in USL Championship history against Birmingham Legion at Protective Stadium. So they got that going for them. What Birmingham's Legion has going for them, they got experience now in the technical area. Mark Briggs, former coach of Sacramento Republic and protege, I wouldn't say protege, a mentor to Detroit City FC coach Danny Dicchio, is taking the helm down in Birmingham. But right now, I mean, Birmingham has had their struggles as well. Even with the, shall we say, even with the, let's say, the all-star lineup that they have. Enzo Martinez, Ronaldo Damas, Danny Trejo. Danny Trejo is getting back from injury himself. But they still haven't found a way to get it together as of late. And, in the last 5 matches that they had, including a 1-0 loss to Rhode Island FC on Wednesday night, in which what ended up happening in that contest, Maxi Rodriguez scores a goal in the 14th minute. Salt to the wound, not really, but Maxi Rodriguez has been, let's just say, he's been a pain in the arse every time he's touched the ball down at Protective Stadium. His goal in the 14th minute was all that they needed because Samuel Mickelhatton, trying to say his name 15 times fast, received 2 yellow cards in that match. His second coming in the 45th minute. Birmingham had to play with 10 men the rest of the match and never gained any momentum whatsoever in that contest, and ended up losing that contest by a score of 1-0. But their form as of late, the 2-2 draw down in Tampa Bay against the Rowdies, they had to come back in that one, and of course Tampa Bay's been struggling as well. They're sitting in last place right now in the Eastern Conference. A 3-1 victory over Chattanooga Red Wolves in Jägermeister Cup play. They lost to the Athletic by a score of 1-0, and their last win coming against El Paso Locomotive by a score of 3-1. So 2-1-2 in their last 5 outings, and only 6 points on the year for the Legion thus well. The struggles are real down there for a team that many people thought, including myself, would be at least a bottom of the line playoff team. Getting into the show, shall we say? And the struggles have been, like I said, the struggles have been real for this club. So, and I mentioned, of course, struggles about Detroit City, about finding the ball in the back of the net. If anybody is to find the ball in the back of the net, we know one person that can do that. 7 goals on 9 in all competitions. Darren Smith get key factor as far as getting that done for Detroit City FC, and Danny Dicchio is going to have his, try to get his boys primed up to say, hey, we got to get some urgency going here, because the next few games are going to be a little bit tougher. And but then again, there's the shining spot here. The next game is going to be tough. They're taking on Saturday at Keener Stadium, 4:00 kickoff. But this is the last of a 4-game road trip for Detroit City FC, which is the next couple of months. You're not going to see a lot of home games for Detroit City FC. As far as the men go, you'll see more of the women's action down at Keyworth Stadium than you'll do the men. But winning these games away from home is going to be helpful in trying to get into that playoff picture in the Eastern Conference, where right now they are sitting in the 5th spot of the Eastern Conference, following North Carolina's victory last night over the Oakland Roots. And right now that top 5 in the Eastern Conference separating themselves from the rest of the pack in the top 5 in the East separating themselves from the rest of the pack right now. The difference right now between 5th and 6th in the Eastern Conference is 7 points. And Rhode Island being in that 6th spot right now. But plenty of soccer to be played yet, yet to come in the coming weeks and months to come here in the Eastern Conference. So I mean, and in the USL Championship for that matter. But nonetheless, no other competitions other than Jägermeister Cup, in which that'll be coming up in 2 weeks. Detroit will be going back to Trinity Health Park to take on Hartford Athletic in the second game of that competition. That should be coming up. Let's see here. We'll look at let's see, going here. And no, excuse me. Portland Hearts of Pine. That'll be coming up in a couple weeks. They don't play Hartford again until the 28th of June. So, but yeah, for Detroit City, definitely, the road is they're going to be road weary again. They won't have a home game until Saturday, June 21st. So, one game at home after tomorrow, and then 3 more on the road after that. So, it's that time of year again in which the women will take over Keyworth Stadium, as I mentioned. It's going to be a little bit windy here, as you can tell. The wind's coming in basically right now. I'm looking; it's coming in from the west right now. It's going to play havoc as far as the ball goes here for the women tonight. And wind is always a factor in a soccer game. We'll see what happens when the game is officially kicked off at 7:00. The women's match, you can see, by the way, that'll be on Arbor Broadcasting. That's right. Arbor Broadcasting will be doing the match on YouTube. But if you can't happen to find that, look to Sports Engine Play. Sports Engine Play has all the action for the USL-W this year. So every game that you can see in the USL-W will be made available on Sports Engine Play. And, of course, all the home games for Detroit City FC. Once again, you can catch all those home games. Usual sources, YouTube, Detroit City FC YouTube channel. CBSDetroit.com will also be broadcasting the matches as well for anywhere inside the state of Michigan, as well as Sports Engine Play. So lots of ways you can see Detroit City FC in action this year. It's picking up a little bit more here. But it's come to the time where we got to make predictions for a weekend filled with soccer. Right now, as the standings go, I'm not looking so good against Steve here. Steve has gotten the upper edge as far as the competition concerned, and he gives his views on these 2 matches coming up here. Let's go to Steve with the picks for this afternoon and tomorrow's match.
Thank you very much, Madcap. Well, here are the predictions for both games today. For tonight, I think Detroit City have a great chance to begin their redemption tour. I'm going to say it's going to be an easy 2-0 victory. It will be tough and it will be hard against AFC Ann Arbor. I'm going to say Lily Jacob, the youngster, will score a goal, as well as Kayla Addison. Like I said, they're on a journey to hopefully get back to the championship game after coming 1 game short. And it should be fun. Excuse me there. Also, as for the men's game, Birmingham is coming off from a very short turnaround. They have 1 extra day. Detroit City haven't played in almost a week after their second straight draw, but I'm going to say it's going to be a 2-1 victory over Birmingham. It's going to be tough. It's going to be rough. Darren Smith, I think he's going to score, and 1 other goal scorer will also score as well. But who knows? It could be a rout. Like I said, Detroit City have done very, very well in Birmingham. Haven't lost to them on the road, and now they want to take the plus 3 points back to the standing. Very key because it's getting tight between North Carolina FC, Charlottesville, Lou City, and the surprising Loudoun. So, once again, my predictions for today: City Girls beat AFC Ann Arbor 2-0, and the men will beat Birmingham Legion 2-1. And that is my prediction. I will talk to you after hours for a general overview of tonight's women's game. So, from the Hacienda in Hamtramck, back to Matt Cat.
Alrighty, Steve. Thank you for that. You're got a couple nail biters. It looks like here. I don't think this one's going to be a nail biter, to be honest with you. May have been a nail biter against Union FC Macomb. They played to a 1-1 draw against Midwest United. They're going to see a Detroit City team that's going to be locked, cocked, and ready to rock. And I don't think there's going to be any first game jitters out of these girls. A lot of these players, like I mentioned, played with that MASW squad, so they know let's just say they've been well primed. And it's been a couple of months, obviously, since it was like over a month since most of these girls ended up seeing action on the field. So we shall, I think there's going to be it's a little bit of a let's just say I think it's going to be a drubbing. I'm going to say 4-0 for Detroit City FC. Lily Jake will probably get a couple in there to continue her shall we say upward growth, which has seen her on the U.S. Women's Youth National Team. And I wouldn't suspect that Kayla Addison won't put one in the back of the net. I think she'll probably get the Emily Paget, another opportunity for a goal scorer as well this evening here in Ann Arbor. And I'm going to say 4-0 on that one. Now, as far as the other match goes, Detroit has had a history, as you know, at Protective Stadium. They've won 3 in a row down there. You know what? I'm behind in this thing, but I cannot argue with the fact that I think we can get 3 points there against a struggling Birmingham Legion squad. And it's the old teacher versus the pupil thing. I get it. Mark Briggs going up against his former pupil, but I think Detroit City's got a better squad in all terms, and it all depends on what the defense does too. Tomorrow afternoon. I mean, they've been letting up some, bad goals. Of course, the two in Indy being center first and foremost. There, I'm thinking they gotta shake out of this somehow, some way, and I think the rest is going to help them out. I'd say 2-1 as well. I look at Darren Smith scoring a goal. I look at Ben Morris getting back on the board as well, trying to, add a little bit more of. To his resume there instead of being a facilitator. I think he finds the back of the net as well on Sunday afternoon down in Birmingham. So the way you can see that match, of course, will be the usual outlets: WKBD Channel 50 in Detroit, ESPN Plus, also CBSDetroit.com for those statewide that you can access the game as well. Plus, if you're on the road and don't have access to a phone or all that stuff, and you have SiriusXM, find that game on SiriusXM channel 157. They will have the match beginning at 5 o'clock from Protective Stadium. So plenty of outlets to see that game tomorrow afternoon. And I did mention the outlets that you can see this game or tonight's game here at Holloway Field. Sports Engine Play, Arbor Broadcasting on YouTube. They will be providing coverage as well. We will be providing coverage after the match as well. Hope to get a couple interviews, some highlights as well. And opening day for Detroit City FC. They're playing game 1. Ann Arbor's playing game 3 here today. Should be a great matchup, and looking forward to it as always. So until we meet again after the match, folks, keep your feet on the ground. Keep reaching for the galaxy.